Hi everyone. Sorry, that wasn't interference in the background. Morning everyone. Morning Belinda Adams. That's Reality. Kirsty Wilson, Orams Jams, Nikki Thompson, Angela, Amelia Davis, Angela Wild, Puddle Duck 28, Ruth A, Layla Baziad, Usha Mystery. We should have a competition where we read out the top 10, the first 10 people who comment until we run out. Kim Blanton, Millie Parfitt, Deborah Taylor, Donna Carkett, Kerry Bedford, Heather Hardacre, Kirsty Kate, Laura Spate, Jade Louisa, Sarah Walker, Steph Coleman, Amy Cheetham. Whew, they're going up too fast now. So, you may have noticed it's COFFEED-19. When things get tough, look for the rainbows. Ain't no rainbows round here. Mark, you ended the live this morning, technically at 12. Orange Jams, yeah, what happened with the live last night? Interestingly, at the very point that I stopped the live, our entire internet went down. Maddie was in distress. It was, and it was quite late, wasn't it? So what ended up happening was with YouTube, it ends up just hanging like a thread. But then it went. Morning, just watched Nando's vlog, so sweet, Leggy Blonde Jen. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun. The FT article yesterday, coronavirus tracked, has interesting statistics. Are they positive? I'd love to read that. Nando's very funny. How are you guys, Lucy Rose? How are you, darling? Thank you for asking how are we. Good morning, crazy isolators. Robert Barnier, Aussie Bob. Hi, Aussie Bob. It hung all right. It hung and it hung. Hey, Mark, so agree with your thoughts with government. They are getting wrong on purpose. Yeah, I am an enormous... Where's the dog videos? What dog videos? Oh, they'll be coming in the vlogs, yeah. Of them being Sean.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing catch up. So Nando's is out. Everyone's been waiting for Nando's. Now everyone's moved on to getting the next one.
You guys, you're so demanding.
Morning from Egypt. Janine Amory. What's the situation in Egypt? I'm curious to know. What do you think of the Transport and Education Secretaries? Not a great deal. Leo, woken up with a sore throat, dry cough and a headache. Oh, sweetheart.
Oh, but you haven't been anywhere, Leo, so it's probably just a cold.
I am a great drinks dispenser. Press my nose. Let's see if there's anything left. No, it's empty. Just so that everyone knows, the title of this...
Anyone who's wondering why he said that was, in the Nando's vlog, we make him the drinks dispenser, so the kids could press his nose, and then he poured the drinks. It's really funny.
Leggy Blonde Jen, just watch Matt Hancock. He makes out everything is clear, but it's also complicated. Yeah. What's that? Toss. Stop growling. So here's the thing. A lot of talk this morning about the potential for us to follow the New Zealand model of bubbles. And I'm really interested in the ethical dilemma that is reaching us now, which is how do we go about choosing who and which household to social bubble with? Now, I think this is a really important subject.
Where are we at with it?
We are at the point that the government have asked Sage to explore... Can you leave? You're brilliant.
Oh, sorry, John.
Have asked Sage to explore the New Zealand model to see how we can implement it here.
So what is the New Zealand model?
The New Zealand model is that you can have involvement with another household. And I think actually, strictly speaking, I think the social bubble over there might involve more than... I don't think it involves many more than other households, but... Basically, we are considering bubbles, and in social bubbles, but they're saying Matt Hancock has suggested already that it may well not include grandparents, which I think will be an absolute crushing blow to a huge number of people. Now, the reason for that...
is that really a surprise, though, when we know that they're the most at risk?
Well, that's why they are the most at risk.
But they are saying now that you can meet in the park, aren't you? Does that include your grandparents?
Right. Let me get clarity on this. Maddie could go to the park every day and meet someone different every day, or the same person every day, for as long as she wants, as long as she observes a 2 meter distance. That's fine. She couldn't meet more than 2 people from that house. So she couldn't meet a boyfriend and a boyfriend's brother. She couldn't meet a boyfriend.
And I get why they're doing that, because it would get too woolly and then it'd be more than 2 people and then I get that.
So Nanny Di can't be transported here in a car because you're breaking the 2 meter distance.
Are you?
Yeah.
What about she sat right
No,
in the back?
No, you're not allowed to. She's not allowed
But
to.
she's allowed to go on the bus.
Yeah, she's allowed to go on a bus, but she's socially distancing from other people. She can only go on the bus because they're observing social distancing measures. I can't observe.
How are they observing social distancing
I don't
on the
know.
buses?
I haven't been on a bus, but that's the rule, isn't it? The rule is that all public transport is having to observe social
Oh, I
distancing.
didn't realise that.
So,
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and all the signs outside the tubes are all saying 2 metre gaps and all that kind of stuff.
Didn't look like that on the tube yesterday.
So in a car, no, exactly. In a car, they know for a fact that I can't observe that. I think that's why they're still pulling people over with more than one people in cars, because they want to, So there's that. If we couldn't all go as a family to meet Nanny Di.
In the park?
In the park. Only I could. Because she could only meet one person. We're all meeting one person, but she'd be meeting 4.
Right, okay. You can kind of see why they're saying that.
Henrietta Henson, she should come in a taxi. Here's another interesting thing. I want to carry on with this
because you're allowed to go in a taxi.
Yeah, but hang on. Did you see the list published yesterday of the highest job risk categories? The categories of job that are the most at risk of coronavirus. You see that was running around everywhere yesterday.
Yeah.
Top of the list. And answer me this. One of the top, at the top of the list, obviously bus drivers, taxi drivers. I would not get into cabs.
No.
Chefs. What does that mean for takeaway? Chefs is one of the highest. That means kitchens are one of the most contagious places.
That's why we've got Domino's a couple of times. But what I do is I get the oven really, really hot and I put them back in the oven to just blast it just in case.
So strictly speaking, legally, the right way for Nanny Di Say to visit here would be for her to get the public transport herself, because she would be able to claim that she's gone on a public transport system that itself is declaring it's observing social distancing.
But funny enough, I'm sorry to pause you, she could also get a cab because cabs are illegally driving around.
Yeah, but
she can't be any more 2 metre distance in a cab.
But I wouldn't in a cab, given that taxi drivers are one of the high
No, but
risks.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
That's what I mean.
You said you can't pick her up in the car.
Well, no, I agree.
But she could get in a cab.
Well, I agree. So where's the logic in that? Maybe it's a particular type of cab.
No, it's not. They've got all Addison-Lees are still running.
So that's the situation. You can't see. I don't think you can see anyone in your gardens. You can't see. And if you want to visit, the bubble situation is a really invidious one, because the social bubble that they're going to introduce is probably we will be able to talk to one house. So I was asking the subs last night. We would have to choose between your parents' house, which has obviously however many people in it, your parents and Dina, who lives in the same building, and my mum's, and you can only choose one or the other. And the only reason I'm flagging that up is that must be a dilemma for so many couples.
Terry Collins is saying, I have twin daughters. One lives 5 minutes from the other, lives 7 minutes from me, with my granddaughter who's only 4 months old. How am I supposed to pick between them? They're still my babies.
Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I mean, that dilemma, it's not as simple as just saying, right, here's, pick another household. And then, of course, you've got your teenage kids. And for Maddie, she would love to. But of course, Maddie's boyfriend's family wouldn't pick our household as the one household, because they've got one son of many. So why would they prioritise her?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a really tricky one. There's an assumption that there's a neat fix of 2 households, and there just isn't. Because Nanny Di's household, which is a household, only houses one person. Then there could be a contract.
It's interesting, Sarah. I'm scared of rejection from a bubble. It'd be like being at school again.
Well, that's exactly what I said.
Not being fit for the team.
I think it's the modern day ethical dilemma. I think you're going to
see
families really hurt.
Do you know what I think? I don't think it's going to happen.
Do you not? For that reason? They haven't done anything else sensibly.
I think it's just too complicated to enforce. It will cause more problems.
Yeah.
I think what will happen is, I think people will start to nibble around the edges and they'll find a way to see their families, because I think in the future, I think that's what's going to happen because,
But yeah, look, issues like this, Alicia, if you were to bring someone into your bubble, you'd be best to bring Nanny Di because she's on her own, your parents have got each other and they've got Dina. So yeah, those kind of assessments would need to be made about who's more self-sustaining, who's out on their own, but also who's the most tolerable.
Yeah.
Sadly makes no difference for me. So, Zoe, I'm so feeling for you. I can feel your absolute heartache at not being able to fly home to Ireland.
I feel so deflated, but I'll stay strong. You will, because listen, sweetie, yesterday I had a bit of a bad day with it, and I rang Kay, had a long conversation with Kay, and we were both down, and then we lifted each other, and we were both down, and then we lifted each other. And the thing is, we will beat this. They will find a way, just globally. They just will not allow this. to carry on. All the best brains, I know we've said this before, but all the best brains around the world, even if we think our governments are fucking up left, right and centre, are working on this. They'll find drugs before they'll find a vaccine. They'll find some way of treating it so that people don't have to. They'll also find some way, I think, of killing it, like out in the world, like ultraviolet, like lots of, Singapore uses ultraviolet light, don't they? They clean the tubes. We will get there, but it is incredibly difficult. There's no two ways about it. And Zoe and all of us each day have to put into place, we have to work hard at what helps us. And we have to put it into place. Like, I haven't done my exercise this morning. That's a problem. That will be a problem that I haven't done that first thing. That will knock me on the head a bit later on in the day. But hopefully we're going to do a walk with the girls when we get up. You know, eating well, reaching out to people, taking a breath outside. If you don't have a garden, getting out for a walk, reading, a bit of meditation, watching a great show, losing yourself in a film. All these things, the one thing that is the worst thing is to get locked into yourself, sitting and thinking. That stinking thinking will cause more trouble than it's worth. Yeah, I woke up with it this morning and yeah. Yeah. But we've ended up having a good morning, haven't we? Because we started to be doing something. We're preparing something for you guys that is going to be so much fun. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
And it distracted us because we had to. It's distraction. Yeah. How can you distract yourself today? You all right?
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to get some,
Yeah.
Susan Stone, Hancock on this morning said we can visit the family at their house, but at the garden fence 2 meters apart, not at a park. I found a hack to take a piece of fencing with you to the park. Did you see the footage of someone running around with a bush outfit on?
What did he say? We can visit family at their house.
I don't find that clear at all.
No, we can't visit family at their house, but at the garden fence 2 meters apart, but not a park. You can't meet your family in the park.
Thanks, MP. Chris Whitty, free lecture. Thank you.
But you can meet a friend in the park.
None of us can meet anyone in the in a certain age category or at risk. I don't think we can meet anyone who's been asked to stay. It's still, nothing is clear.
Oh my God.
Nothing is clear.
Hi, Paige.
As soon as I feel
Lynn.
like I've got some grip
Hi,
on
Tracy.
reality or whatever the rules are, it slips away from me because there's always some caveat.
Yeah.
All I know for a fact is that teenagers can meet their friends on their own.
One at a time.
1 at a time. 2 meters apart.
We'll be trying to encourage Maddie to go and meet a friend in the park today, but she's reluctant because she said, I'll just feel, it will just be frustrating what we can't do. But they'll find their new normal with that. They will find a way to do that, teenagers, I think, won't they? Well, is anybody going to meet somebody in the park today that they couldn't have met yesterday with a 2 meter distance? Is anyone, that's what I'm interested in. Is anyone going to take them up on this? Or does it feel...
Take them up on what, sorry?
The fact that you can meet a friend in the park and go for a walk, or does it feel...
Well, what I'm hearing, if I'm honest,
I haven't heard anyone saying they're going to take them up on that. It's funny.
What do you mean take them up?
Take the government up on that new relaxation of the rule, like go to the park today and meet a friend. Like I said it to the girls yesterday. Do you both want to go to the park tomorrow, meet a friend and have a 2 meter distance walk? And they both said no.
Well, no, that's I thought that was what you're saying. What I'm finding and sensing even when I spoke to Izzy is there is such resignation that they want at some point. It's like they'd rather not see someone from 2 meters apart at all. Than have the frustration of seeing them and it being so limited. I mean, I know it's easy enough for us as adults to go, oh, come on, it's better than nothing. But I think for youngsters, it really isn't.
Then they're going to need a while to process it, aren't they? At the moment, they're saying no, but they'll get desperate and they'll do it.
Well, yeah, I think so. But I mean,
Meghan Parker, but if we think about it, you can sit 2 meters away from another family in the park. Well, I mean, it's like the police were saying yesterday. It's all very well for them to say this. We cannot police it. There's no way they can police that. No way. No way on earth, is there? How are they going to... I suppose, but the government are saying, we're asking you to do this. We're asking you to use your common sense.
Well, that's another point Nicola Randall makes. Now the fear is, it's like we're about to go to the park, and I'm not looking forward to it because it's going to be absolutely rammed with people. And... then, there's two elements to this. There's the not wanting to be in lockdown and wanting our freedoms to slowly come back. But then it's coupled with this terrible fear and worry that the virus is still out there and there's the possibility of contracting it again. So, you know, on the one hand, of course, we all want to be free, but then it's coupled with this real sort of worry that if you go to the park and it's absolutely heaving. I mean, like yesterday, I took some exercise when I went to get Nadia from Loose Women. I took some exercise in town. And whilst it was nice by the Thames, insofar as it was empty, about 6 runners not only ran so close to me, I've become so intolerant, but they were really sweating and pumping air out. Now, we know that a runner projects that, and he was sweating. And this one guy who was fit and what have you, and he just wasn't thinking. He was running as if he was running under normal conditions. I think every runner has a fucking responsibility to steer a course around a pedestrian.
Said,
you know, be considerate. And he surprised me. And as he came back, you could see, and it was a windy day yesterday, and he was breathing. Now you could be hysterical about it. But when you see these diagrams of the airflow, liquid everywhere. And I was thinking, I'm walking into his... But I'm a runner. Runners need to take responsibility for that. If you see you're heading towards someone ahead of you, take a healthy 3 to 4
What do you find more irritating in the park, the cyclists or the runners?
Well, at the moment, it's the runners, to be honest. The cyclists
so
move past you much quicker.
Louise Jones, think in the end, teens and people are going to have to get used to this, as this is going to be like this for a long time. Yeah. At some point,
the parks are busy already, so I'm just going to walk around the block. I mean, this is it. This is. Oh.
Carol Moore, my daughter's not sending her kids back to school. Lots of people are saying that. Did you see the story that I reposted from Ashley on our Instagram? It's such a good picture. And it was a picture of the House of Commons absolutely packed. And then beneath it, a picture of a primary school classroom absolutely packed. And it said, until this is okay, over the House of Commons, this isn't okay. I thought, yeah, you're not squishing yourself into the House of Commons. So why we're not ready. As I said last night, they used the words, the science tells us, run to your fucking homes and stay in there and don't leave because this is so dangerous. But they haven't given us the science to come back out of the house. They haven't said to us, we've sorted out the testing, tracing, isolating. We've looked at all the figures. We've worked out this, we've worked out that. The scientists tell us that the spread is this, and therefore, you know, it's now safe. They haven't said any of that. They've just said, go back to, not yet, but they're saying we may go back to school on the 1st of June. And if you can get to work, get to work.
Dun 9977 says in the US, they have to have 10 meters distance when running.
Do they?
I think that's right. And I think runners should be required to run routes that are sort of populated, because you're running. Do you know what I mean? You should take routes that aren't busy. I think parks need to be, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but in a weird way, I think parks need to be reserved for walking families and not people exerting themselves, because suddenly they themselves become outdoor petri dishes. I mean, I was thinking yesterday, it was a really windy day in London, and I was really worried about the swirling wind. You know, how someone could walk past you if someone sneezes in a windy situation.
We have to think of all this. Are we going mad? We're not normal anymore.
Mavo Dwyer says, sorry to say, but how your government lacks it has restored my faith in our Irish government. We had clear guidelines on May the 5th to roll out from May the 18th to employers. All 5 phases clear. Yeah, nothing's clear. Nothing's clear.
Sorry, somebody said they were having a bad day. Could they have a shout out? I didn't catch your name. Maybe
where did you see it? There you go. Julie Neary, having a really bad day today. Can I have a shout out, please?
Julie Neary.
Julie Neary.
Julie Neary. Julie Neary. Julie Neary.
It's really weird.
Julie Neary, 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 Neary.
I know what you mean, Julie. It's weird because we distracted ourselves with a really, really silly distraction this morning. That was quite fun to do, and you'll discover what we were up to. But now I've come out of it, I've gone back to where I was when I woke up, which is a sort of flat resignation. And it's not, you know...
I wonder if our running place will open tomorrow. Tennis courts open tomorrow.
But do people do realise you can only play tennis with people in your own household?
Yeah. But I wonder if the running place track is going to open.
Well, no, because they have to open the gym for that, because you can only access it from inside. Yeah, a flat resignation. I think one of the problems I really have with it is the inability to do anything meaningful. I mean, yes, you can enact all of your own protections, but I want to be able to help change the overall picture, and I feel so helpless about that. It's why I think it's why I was drawn to the idea of if they put out a call for trackers and tracers, I would do it. I really would. I want to feel like I've got some part in kind of... I mean, you contacted the NHS volunteers and they haven't even bloody phoned you. They must have considered you far
starting
too
to get a
high
little
risk.
insecure about that.
I think you're high risk in an entirely different way. Like you
The
can't
NHS
open
are
a
in
door.
crisis and they don't need me to help deliver something, make a phone call. Virus hasn't gone away, just room in hospital and ICU for you. That's what I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. The more I hear Boris, the more annoyed
Yeah, I do,
I get with him.
I do think they'll extend the mortgage and rent holiday into September. How can they not?
Yeah, I think they will. And
If they're reducing furlough to 60%, how can they not?
And here's the other thing as well. I think Boris has made a really, really big mistake. He had the option in tone. I'm talking about tone here. I think he had the option to play the more humanistic, I've been through this, I've gone through this like you. Yeah. He had that way to go. And I think he could have carried us all with him a lot more in whatever decisions he was making. But he really oddly came out with a Churchillian bulldog spirit that, to be honest with you, I'm proud enough to be British, but I'm not so proud. When I hear bulldogs and all that stuff, it makes my skin crawl. I get really embarrassed. But I am proud of I'm proud of Britain's multiple, multicultural heritage and all that sort of stuff, urban, rural, everything. But I'm not proud of this kind of double down. It's old-fashioned and it's irrelevant. And
it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work at the minute. And I think he's made a really calculated decision to be like that, because if we saw a more human, I don't mean human as in soppy and
yesterday,
snowflakey.
And I can't believe I keep quoting Nicola Sturgeon, but she said, "I'm so proud of every one of you. You're all missing your families. You're doing this." And she was really human about it. And I think we just need a bit more of that from the government. Really do. Faith
Goodman, we are NHS shielding, so meeting anybody's dangerous. I'd want to hug our son if I saw him, not stay 2 metres away. Pauline Mulvey, you're right. Serenity prayer is the only thing you can use at times like now.
It's a great prayer.
Leggy Blonde Jen, everything is a mess. We're all becoming neurotic, but I think it's justified.
We are becoming neurotic, and it's scary, isn't it? What we're becoming. As I keep saying, I feel so sorry for people with OCD. Because I am starting to go that way. My behaviour isn't normal behaviour. It's not. It's like, and I think it must be torturous. I cannot imagine. Mind you, I suppose in some ways you're used to it if you've got OCD. But
Ashley J, I paid 3/4 of my rent as that's all I can afford, and my landlord is threatening to kick me out. What you say to your landlord is it's illegal to evict anyone in the crisis.
It actually is.
It's illegal. There is legislation that's been passed. So
Switzerland are allowed to see their families. I've never heard anything about Switzerland. What's going on in Switzerland? What's their infection rate like?
How the fuck can it be safe for Lynn Aoki to go to a bloody busy park to meet someone than meet them in your own garden? Entirely agree. Sorry for swearing. That's all right.
Don't worry, we swear.
Nicola Sturgeon's brilliant First Minister. Everything opening up in Denmark with only 1 metre distance with numbers falling despite schools opening 3 weeks ago. Catherine Clausen.
That's nice news.
That's good news.
Catherine Clausen, thank you for that.
But has Denmark enacted this track and trace
and isolate
which
thing? We still
can't. Like, I just saw someone else mention as it went up. They kept on mentioning it. All the promises just evaporate. They don't mention the things. Where's the app gone?
He said they're working on the app. But in his speech, he went, and yes, we've got to get our testing sorted out, but that's very difficult. And that was all he said. I couldn't watch the briefing yesterday. Hopefully the journalist screwed him into the ground about test, trace and isolate. Hopefully. Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're entering a new age. We're going to be recording a relationship podcast. Go over to our Instagram, Nadia Sawalha and Family. We've put up some Insta stories if you want some comments, if you want to input in that. We're going to be doing a podcast about lots of people are struggling. Lots of people
want to leave their partners.
Lots of relationships are falling apart. And it's challenging. It's challenging to know how to have your own time and space. So there's that. But I do think this social bubble and who to choose and how to choose is going to become quite a sticky area.
Yeah. Steph, that's lovely, Cher. My mum, who is 60, is a nurse and has been working the COVID DNR ward. I've not seen her for 6 weeks, but I'm incredibly proud. And it's been quite sorry, just give me a moment. She said the first hug back will be like the first day we were together.
That's such a beautiful thing to say. Hugs. Who thought hugs were so important? Talk about being reminded how important they are. I can feel it in all my kids that they're all desperate to be able to hug. I just want to give all my girls a dad hug. And I can 2 of them, but I can't 2 of them. Anyway.
Something there about Switzerland. Send your mum our love and give her a big virtual hug from us. 60 and working in a COVID ward. Brave. They're so brave.
Yeah. Missing a hug. Missing a hug. Should we give everyone a hug?
Yeah.
Come here, guys. Come on. Oh. Yeah. It's hard, isn't it?
Talking about losing their husband. Where's that gone?
Easy, Hattie. It's all right, Hattie. Easy, Hattie.
Helen Durkin. My husband died on the 23rd of April of COVID in a nursing home.
Oh,
Helen.
Oh, it's International
Really
Day
love.
of the Nurse. It's International Day of the Nurse today and the midwife.
Is it?
Yeah, it was. Do you remember it mentioned it on the radio
Yeah.
yesterday? And
Well, we should do
I
something
think we
to
should do
mark
something
that.
on Instagram where you name the nurse or the midwife that you'd like to get
Yeah.
out, and we'll repost them on.
Yeah, please do, and we'll repost them. Tag us in.
Tag
Give
us
us a
in.
little story of
Give us
your
a-
nurse or
yeah.
your midwife. I can't, because I've never really had an experience with a nurse.
I realise not everyone's on Instagram, but if you are, and if you've got anyone who's young, can get you on Instagram. I put Nanny Di on it quite a while back, and so she does a few here and there.
Thank you, Anita Riley. She's sending lots of hugs.
Oh, bless. Oh. Well, all right, guys, we're going to crack on. So,
We are working on a surprise for you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I keep feeling emotional now. So many nice messages.
it hits you in waves, doesn't it? It just hits you in waves. I feel like that. I feel a bit.
No, but I just feel like, I don't feel it for me. I just feel like people are just going through so
I know.
much, aren't
I
they?
know. Everyone's struggling.
No,
Everyone's really struggling.
I'm lucky, but I do feel for you all, guys. I really do.
Yeah.
So we're working on something that is going to be a lot of fun.
What day is it today? Day of the week.
I did cook the Nando's myself, yeah. I've got my own recipe for Nando's, but I wanted to make it most like Nando's. So I bought the Nando's sauce, the lemon and herb one. I have to say, it's brilliant, the marinade. It's really, really good. Yeah, I want to do it again for them because they're really down at the moment. I want to do another restaurant for them. I think I'm going to do Five Guys.
Well, I think we mentioned it, didn't we, on the Insta story? What would people?
We need to get some peanut oil.
Yeah.
I need to look into exactly monkey nuts.
Yeah. And we need to charge a fortune for Five Guys.
We need to buy some very specific food. Where can we go?
Oh, I don't know.
Marks and Spencer's.
Mike and Mama's is a good one.
I love my Ninja Grill.
Yeah, it's good.
I do love my Ninja.
It's like a droid in the corner of the kitchen, and you just sort of go, do this.
The thing is, I am an ambassador for it, so it's. But I was using it for a long while before I became an ambassador, and I do use it every day. Like any brand we work with, we have to bloody love it. We have to really, really love it, or we won't do it because we don't want anyone spending their money without us really approving of it. So, yeah.
Right,
guys, so today, what can we leave people with to cheer them up or to help them through? Mark, you've been in rehab. You've suffered with anxiety and depression. Give people a love.
Well, I'd like to say that the first thing you should do is exercise. And I think if you're worried about going to the park, I think put on some music as soon as you finish this. Put it on as loud as possible and dance around. Now, obviously, for some people that's a difficulty because, of course, you have neighbours. But
you can put it on your headphones.
Put it on your headphones. That's a good point. If you've got
Dance
headphones, seriously
like no
put on
one's
some music
watching.
and dance like no one has like everything. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy. Yeah, we've got some coffee. Thank you.
You know, the funny thing about, and someone just said then the Serenity Prayer, but I mean, sometimes it's really hard. It's like I've been asked to talk on a sobriety chat, and I was talking to the guys organising it, and I said, look, it's really hard. It's like, on the one hand, there's so much I could say.
Oh, it is Florence Nightingale's birthday. Yes,
it's like there's so much I could say, and then there's not enough I could say. And then there's so many approaches to it. And yet so much of being successfully sober is about feeling like you're not succeeding and finding ways through. So, when you just said then, come on, Mark, you're in recovery, I go into a tailspin because I can't, in terms of finding, sometimes it's just about stopping the wheels of motion in your head and heart. And that is so different for everyone. It might be lying on the floor, it might be meditating, it might be listening
crafty.
to music.
Somebody just said there, turn the news off, put some music on, get crafty. And the thing is, I can't draw, I'm a rubbish drawer. But I do quite often when I feel overwhelmed, I colour in. I just colour in.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a brilliant artist. It's just doing something mindful to take yourself away. I think we should play some really nice music later and do that with the girls.
And I
at the
think you should
table.
also, you know, where you can, obviously we love joining up with you on here, but, you know, reduce your screen time. And if you can look out of your window, open the window and have a look at life and have a look at the natural world, if you can see it. We're very lucky, we're blessed. But, you know, if you can see it, maybe there's a square Nanny Di is going out to her local park. She's in the most concrete part of London.
Oh my God,
And
where
she
she is.
finds a little area where she can go and read.
It really is being outside is really...
yeah.
And now people that are shielding completely, my God, I don't know how difficult it must be for you. But even opening the window, sit right by the window and just zone into what is outside. There's always something, close your eyes, there's something you can hear. Even if it's just the sounds of life, traffic, anything, it can just take you away from your own head. Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah, but we will serve to
Laura,
try and
I know, it must
entertain
be
you.
so hard,
We'll
Laura.
try and entertain you and distract
Open the
you
window.
by being silly. Humour and comedy. And there was the great phrase, fake it to make it. If someone's really annoying you, just pretend to be nice to them. And then you'll find suddenly everything goes a bit more smoothly.
No, Drew, we didn't see Matt Hancock on ITV. I think we better watch it. We need to see what he
Do
said.
we have to look at Matt Hancock? I mean, you know, there's being informed and there's being equipped and then there's just being
Matt
saturated by Matt Hancock's interminable...
Just wanted to tell you about this stuff, guys. I got sent this. Andrea sent it to me from Loose Women, and it is fucking amazing. The Body Glow. Pro Body Glow. It's like a honey moisturizer thing, and it's really, really good.
For what?
Just for dry skin. It's just gorgeous. There was something else I wanted. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Lovely tune, that.
Oh.
Love you all.
If you want to have a real laugh, if you want to stay online and you haven't seen it, check out the Nando's vlog. It
Yeah,
is
it's
very,
really
very
good.
fun.
Yeah.
It is very, very fun.
All right, lovely.
All right, guys, lots of love.
Bye.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.